Good morning, everybody. This is time for Tao of the Day. This is your daily empowerment of yourself. This is Recover Yourself production. I'm Martin John, the recovery mentor, and I'm here to help you get in touch with who you are, get in touch with all that you are. The Tao is the Tao Te Ching, translates to the Canon of Reason. It's a book of 81 chapters, and I invite you to join me and pick a number between 1 and 81. As you pick a number, we will read your Tao for the day, and we will give you something to inspire you to live your life within more reason. So the Tao Te Ching translates to the canon of reason. That's how I translate it. It could be the way of reason or the way of life. And we are here to Dr. Rao, picking the Tao. I love it. Doctor, how are you doing? And 3, 2, and...
Hi, Martin.
Hello, how are you?
Nice to see you.
It's always wonderful. I heard you speaking about children empowerment, and I came on afterwards, and it was wonderful to share to hear what you had to offer.
That's nice, Martin. I just heard you say putting out the airplane mode. That was a good tip for people.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
thank you.
And this Dow, let's play. Okay. Can I?
Yes.
7?
7.
Yeah.
The Tao is infinite, eternal.
Hmm.
Why is it eternal? It was never born. Thus, it can never die.
Yeah.
Why is it infinite? It has no desire for itself. Thus, it is present for all beings. I feel like that relates a lot to you. So the
Yeah.
master stands behind.
Yeah.
That is why she is ahead.
Yes.
She is detached from all things. That
Hmm.
is why she is at one with them.
Yes.
Because she has let go of herself, she is perfectly fulfilled.
Hmm.
So that's your number 7 today. Talk to me about what are some of your initial thoughts.
Well, it is Brahman.
It's just Brahma. It's always Brahma.
Brahman, and also the Tao is the same thing as Brahman, right? And
Yes,
Najayate Mriyateva. Never born, never dies.
that's right.
So Brahman is out there, everywhere, in us and around us, and we are in it.
Yes,
So we separate from it. That's all the problem with our suffering.
yes.
One
And
way,
like I love the concept of like life minus expectation
yeah,
is happiness.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, no expectation, no. You see, my mantra in the day, I usually tell people stand in the presence of uh, the mantle of presence, actually. Stand mantle of presence and give with a smile. Don't think too much. Don't expect anything.
That's right.
So that's kind of helped by cousin to get out of the grief reaction that she had because of mom died she was only 18 years age, I think, and sudden death. So, but then she tried to be present and she got just that much part, and she was always in the present. And she remembers her mom, misses her, but doesn't go and live in the past.
It's so easy at 18 to
Ah,
already have the expectation to have your mom longer.
yeah, yeah. But
Or, it's so easy at 35
mhm,
to have your child longer.
yes,
And
yes.
that's what I was talking with Jennifer about earlier, was this idea that like, we immediately have an expectation of what it is our job to do, but our job really
But
is to live our life.
from the Tao and then the Brahman point of view, what is already sacred.
That's right.
That's what you're saying in the saying also. I am what
Yes.
in Sanskrit they call Sat. That is the existence that is always there.
Oh, that's beautiful.
We'll
Okay,
move.
I want to go through this and see if we can pull out anything specific, because it all says the same thing, but let's look at this really quick. So the Tao is infinite, eternal. Why is it eternal? It was never born. Now, I'd love to hear your take on it was never born,
Never born.
because this is a concept that's so hard to embody.
Actually, don't say it's a concept. It is the reality.
Okay.
Concept means born out of conditioned mind, right? So
Oh, yes.
so if you want to see, it is there, and thou is always present because it never is born, never is dead, because all that happens within it, like the body and mind complex, they take the birth and then they go. So they manifest and go, but what is eternal is always there. Actually, this sense of permanence, Martin, really gives us a real overcome the death concept that we have.
Right.
That,
You know,
that that we made a death a concept, but actually Tao is never dying.
right. Death is like a physical sort of experience,
Yeah, yeah,
because manifestation has to change. Manifestation has to, every moment it has to die and be reborn in the manifestation.
yeah. That way, the rebirth, reincarnation, all those things are there. People kind of accept, okay, if I don't have the birth here, next time I'll be better, next time I'll take better qualities of mine into that.
Yes. And it
So,
was never born, thus it can never die.
never
It's
die.
only within the manifestation that those things exist.
Yeah, the manifestation happens within the Tao or within the Brahman.
Right. The Brahma and the Tao are the structure under which these
Yeah,
things can happen.
it's the substratum
Oh,
of
yes.
wonderful, right? Beautiful.
That is beautiful. And you can feel that when you can
Yeah,
have that thought and not be caught in the
yes.
manifest. So
You
many
know,
times I talk to my clients who have
the word,
symptoms.
the key word you said, Martin, there, feel it.
Yes.
Don't think about it. Don't make a concept or idea about it. Feel intuitively, and then you will be established in that.
You know, it's wonderful because I mean I do a lot of healing, like remote healing and distant healing and things like that with my energy work and other stuff like that. But when we can be in this space of understanding the manifestation, of understanding that the manifestation is not the true
Yeah.
nature, that this body is
Yeah.
just an expression of the spirit that we are, which is the
Mm,
Tao, of the depth that we are.
exactly. You know that warrior, when he was told this, before he was kind of he was thinking, this is the world, this is where we are, we don't want to really kill and all those, he goes to the misery. But once he understands he's really that Tao or that Brahman, and then everything else is a manifestation, he knows what he has to do, and he goes and does his duty for the sake of duty.
Yes. And that brings us into the next line. Why is it infinite? He has no desire for it, has no desire for itself.
Exactly. It has never contaminated with that. Whereas that's where we have to understand desire and its limitations and put the desire under check. What is happening to us is, as a human population, we let our desire be rampant, and
Yes.
we are destroying the world, destroying the earth. Accumulation of things. That's the desire, right? There's no need also we do that.
You know, it is the accumulation of things,
Yeah.
relationships, all sorts of stuff in the manifestation.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. And that's why that Brahman or the Tao is never touched by it.
Right, because it has no desire for
Yeah,
itself.
it has
And
no.
be yeah, without having a desire, and thus you can be present for all beings. You know, when I talk to people in drug and alcohol treatment and other stuff like that, one of the big things I always have to say is like, look, being addicted doesn't have a good or bad. Like if you wake up every morning and your desire is to find drugs every day to hurt yourself, or whatever that is, the Tao, the universe, the manifestation will open up for you to do that without
Yeah,
judgment.
it is. But the thing is, once you are established as a therapist in that Brahman or Tao, then you can really help them without judging them.
Right. Yeah. No, like there's, and that's like, that's how I approach all of my
Yeah,
people, because I start with the Tao. It's like they're, and like my clients always are so like they mention it all the time. I love that I can come here and not feel judged. And
yeah,
it's like, yes, there is no judgment. I don't care if you are so angry with your partner that and you want to hurt them,
yeah,
that's okay. It's okay. Now, do you really want to do that?
yeah.
And being able to be present with
No,
someone to let them see themselves.
even that anger is happening to the manifestation, not to the
Right.
real you, which is the Tao or the Brahman.
Right. And that, because that anger, because I mean, I even look at anger as something you could be addicted to.
Yeah.
And so and so it is part of the manifestation, those feelings, when you because the anger is coming from the manifestation.
Mm,
You are, and just like you said, in our world we want more, and
yeah.
some people who get angry just look for more reasons to be angry.
Yes, yes. And then they don't realize they're hurting themselves and others too.
Yes, they are hurting themselves, and in the hurting of others, those other people that are being hurt are looking to be hurt as well, or looking to learn from being hurt. So they are contributing to the advancement of the consciousness, or the veil of which keeps us from being able to feel the Tao or the Brahman.
Now, the main thing is, it is the peace that is lacking when they are in those states.
Yes.
So it's like this: you are walking in a hot summer and you find a nice tree, there's a lot of shade underneath, big tree. So you go and stay there. It feels very, very calm and nice, peaceful, right? No
Yeah.
heat. And then you come out, then again you're exposed to the sun, and then again you go back to the thing because you can't tolerate the sun. It's like that. Brahma,
Hmm.
that shade of that tree, and you are there, you are peaceful and quiet. But when you come out with this manifestation, which is having this angers or blame or whatever, and then you are unrested. You are kind of lack of peace, lack of quiet, tranquility, and that way blissfulness.
Yeah.
And you want to choose the bliss first by being in the bliss, and then identifying the people who are not in the bliss, not blaming them, but gently pointing out so that they can feel and realize who they really are.
And that relates back to so much that Jennifer was talking about, with this concept of empowering children. How do you empower children? You empower them by respecting them.
Yeah, not respecting them, but by more like respecting this inner core, which is you and me are the same.
Yes, that's what when I say respecting them, I'm giving them that deep understanding of love that is
Kind of,
given to us.
yeah, recognizing them at the core.
Yes, love them
Yeah,
as part of you, as part of the Tao, as part of the whole. They
exactly.
are they are fulfilling
Yeah, yeah.
their 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 place, because
You
they
know,
can't not.
Martin, actually, they said that is the goal of the human life. This intelligence, this consciousness to turn inside and realize who we really are is
Yes.
the goal of human life because other animals don't have that.
Yeah. And what else are we going to do? Like that,
Yeah,
it just seems like the most obvious thing.
yeah. But then they don't realize that though. That's the thing. Realize it is already there. You don't have to travel anywhere. You can just realize here and now.
Yes.
And that is difficult because the manifestation is so strong in the form of mind and its own conclusions, concepts, and all that. So one of the ladies in South Africa who follows Ramana Maharshi, she said this: ever since I understood who we really are, I stopped having these conceptions about even my children.
Yes.
She sees them, she recognizes what they are, and then she goes to the core and then says that there's a long lasting Atman or soul or Tao or Brahman, whatever you call the name, it is there, eternal.
Yes.
The eternality you have to realize in the kids, not looking them at this age of body and mind. That's why they are this. That's where your word respect comes. Once you see them at that level, you are automatically giving them the respect.
Right. Yeah, and you can't not. Once you have seen that within
Yeah,
the
exactly.
only thing you can do is give them respect.
Exactly. And then you realize, and then you are in the.
Okay, you just cut out, but I would love to have you come back if you have the time. Because this verse, we only got through half of the verse, but we got yeah, we got a little bit more to go. But I love these conversations with you, Dr. Ram.
Yeah, no, I'm back.
Yes, good. So yeah, once we understand who we are, once we feel and know that we are connected to all things, loving and respecting and being able to allow our children, our loved ones, our relationships, our neighbors to be who they are without going to live in this manifestation completely, we can offer that space.
Yeah. I mean, you just operating from there, your thoughts and body, everything will be under your control, really. There are your tools.
Yeah, you don't it's when we get angry, we get caught in the manifestation. When we get angry, we get caught in all of the craziness that is going on around us.
Yeah, that's when you become aware of the anger. That means you are in your real self, being aware from that point of view, and then automatically anger goes down.
That's right, because you're separate from it. It's not it you aren't caught in the manifestation, as I like to say.
Hey, that's why I teach thought versus awareness.
Yes.
Intellectually, okay, very good thought and all that, but don't let the thought pass over you. That's what is happening. But keep
Yes.
control, the ego and everything can be a good servants, not real bosses. Then you lost control of yourself. But once you are in that awareness, which is like a big mountain under the iceberg, then you know, okay, my awareness is much deeper and more tranquil, more peaceful than the thoughts that are moving around. Then you automatically seize the thoughts.
Yes. And then this leads into the next line really nicely, which is the master stays behind. That is why she is ahead. You can stay behind. You can keep looking at it as the observer. You don't have to be in the manifestation.
Exactly, that is being behind, is that, yeah.
Yes. She is detached from all things. That is why she is at one with them. You can be present with someone that's upsetting you, and you can be there for them, with them, without being attached
Yes.
by taking this step back as the observer.
There is this Adi Shankaracharya, which is a phenomenal scholar. He gets enlightenment around 7 years or something, and he leaves home to Himalayas. He ends up there at the age of 9 or so. So somebody asks him, "Who are you?" Then he says, "I am neither this body, nor this intellect, nor this mind, nor this breath, but I am that behind all this."
Yes.
So that thou, that Brahman, that is the one that he stays there and looks at all these things as though are behind, he is behind them.
Yes.
And then he described that at the age 9 to these people, and he has phenomenally wrote about all this. And he says asangatvam, that means detachment.
And then we finish this by because she has let go of herself, she
Yeah,
is perfectly fulfilled.
exactly. That is the further fulfillment I always talk about. Once you end up in that Tao or Brahman, that is forever fulfilling. You don't need to get anything at all from that.
Yes, there's nothing in the manifestation that is going to bring you more fulfillment
Yes,
than what you can gain from within you.
exactly, exactly. That's why once you realize that you have this abundance within you and then you station there, you don't need to get anything. That's why they came out with happiness and contentment and performed very well.
Yes. Dr. Rao, thank you so much. What a beautiful way to get through number 7 with you. I appreciate your time and all of your wisdom.
Okay, thank you, Martin. Nice talking to you.
Always. We are moving on to Sicily. We're gonna play a little Tao of the Day with Sicily. Is that how you pronounce it?
Yes, that's right.
How are you today?
I'm doing
Uh-oh.
better now that I've listened in on a good tile because
Oh, wonderful. Well, I'm glad to hear that. Let's take a deep breath together, and then I would love to hear your number that you'd like to talk about today. Okay. I feel much more connected to you now. I was just had to end the connection with Dr. Rao and kind of come here and be present with you.
yes, it's detaching from emotion, and the hardest one lately has been anger.
Oh yeah.
So
All
listening to
right. Well, let's
Dr. Rob.
let's let's see. Like, yeah, anger is one of those things I talk about that we could become addicted to because anger is a chemical, and so
Mm-hmm.
as soon as we get a little taste of it, sometimes we just want more, and we stay there.
Mm-hmm. It's
Mm,
it's addictive,
it is. It
and
is. So
that detachment.
what
Hmm?
number do you want to choose today?
Um, let's see. Let's go with 10.
10. Ooh, this is for you. Can you coax your mind from its wandering and keep to the original oneness? Can you let your body become supple like a newborn child? Can you cleanse your inner vision until you see nothing but the light? Can you love people and lead them without imposing your will? Can you deal with the most vital matters by letting events take their course? Can you step back from your own mind and thus understand all things? Giving birth and nourishing, having without possessing, acting without expectation, leading and not trying to control. That is the supreme virtue.
Wow, that was for me.
That is for you, my dear. Can you tell me some of your first impressions?
Um, Absolute shock, but not in a scary way, more in a calming, affirming way.
Yeah.
Because that kind of affirm taking a step back and focusing on the goal and not letting my mind wander in anger.
Yes. Mm, I can feel you right here.
I feel it. I feel you as well. It's almost like that was what I needed to take a step back
Mm,
and just focus on one goal at a time.
yeah. Oh, that's so beautiful. Like, oof, another deep breath. God, so nice. So nice. We're gonna
I
go
need
through this line by line together so that we can kind of parse it out and see what you're feeling and allow us to really kind of utilize this as a space for some meditation throughout the day and to remind us as we move forward. So it starts with, and most of these are the same, so we might not have to spend a lot of time on them, but can you coax your mind from its wandering and keep to the original oneness? Now that's beautiful, especially after Dr. Rao and I talked and you were there for that. So what is that line? How does that line resonate with you in this moment?
I tend to let my mind run off on me.
Yeah.
I get anxious. I get those feelings of fear from just letting my mind wander
Yeah.
and trying to find focus. Like, how can I reel this back in? How can I be the master of this vessel?
That's right. And it's interesting because we were talking about the manifestation. You are getting angry because of something that happened in the manifestation. And
Mm.
yet, you are part of the original oneness. You are part of me. You are part of all things in this universe. And it's like to take that step back, as Dr. Rao and I spoke about, like take that step back and like observe from that space. That's not a place that you can observe really with your mind, because your mind wanders. That's its job. Its job is
Mm.
to find solutions and to remind you that like you are being hurt. You are in danger. You were born with fear in you. You didn't learn that. That's something that we're born with. And so your mind wants to wander to those places.
Mm.
Can you let your body become supple like a newborn child? Like, how tense is your body?
Very,
Yeah, girl.
very.
Mm. I want to take another deep breath with you because I feel your tension. And I just want to kind of send you a little love. And I am a master Reiki, so like distant healing is something that I do a lot. So I just want to kind of just touch in with you really quick. And like there's that middle back of yours. It seems really, really tense.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So
How'd you
what I
know?
want to do is I just want to touch that really quick. I just want to be like, hey girl, like you're okay. Let that go up and down, like so it feels like your heart is hurt.
Mm-hmm.
And your heart is so we get there are three energy sources, right? There's the heavens and there's the earth and then there's your heart. These are three powerful energy sources, and when your heart is dark and when your heart is not producing energy, it can really get in the way of your ability to calm your mind.
Mm.
And so like that middle back, right? That middle back, like behind your heart, that tightness, like and just under your rib cage and stuff, right? All of that right
Mm-hmm.
there is just kind of holding things in a holding pattern, and so and like you said, like it's addiction. You really feel comfortable, and I don't want to say nice or good, but you
But
feel
comfortable.
comfortable in being angry because you probably have used anger to protect yourself in the past.
Mm-hmm. Most
So
definitely.
so here we ask the question, can your body become supple like a newborn's child? Can you be quiet and just pay attention the to the tension in your body so that you can relax. And if you can do that, you'll be able to get in touch with that oneness a little easier. Can you cleanse your inner vision to see nothing but the light? This is very much like meditation, right? Like here are different parts. The original oneness, supple as a newborn child, see nothing but the inner light. Like,
Right.
can you just be quiet?
That's a very good one. That's a very good one. I wouldn't have never like paying attention to it is important.
Yeah. Like it's not about pushing the anger away, which is something that I'm feeling you probably judge yourself for judging or judge yourself for being angry, and then it goes into this cycle. But like you're angry, it's okay to be angry. Kind of sit there with it, and then can you love people and lead them without imposing your will? My guess is your anger is because people aren't doing what you want them to do.
Yeah.
Can you love them anyway?
That's important.
Yeah. Because it's not like that's what unconditional love is. Conditional
Yeah,
love is I will love you as long as you continue doing what I want you to do. But can you love people and lead them without imposing your will?
that's a tough one.
And can you deal with the most vital matters by letting events take their course?
Hmm.
Can you, like the most important things, can you not put your spin on?
Hmm.
Can you,
Detachment.
yep, can you step back from your own mind and thus understand all things? Because your mind can only understand you. But if you can step back from your mind, if you can sit quietly, if you can get your body supple, if you can see the light, if you can not impose your will, then everything, all of the answers will be presented to you.
Hmm. That's amazing. Because it's like you have to relax the idea that you're in control.
Because yeah, I sent out an email recently that was like, do you want to lose everything? Pretend you're in control.
Ooh, that's a good
That's
one.
yeah.
If you want to lose everything, pretend like you're in control.
There's a lot in that, like you're never in control. Never.
Mm,
So all you can do is pretend as if you are.
right. That just put a whole lot of things in perspective.
Yeah. We really like to tell people what to do and how to do things to make us feel good. And our world has really put us in this place of being like, well, if you don't do that, you're cheating yourself. But the thing is by doing that, you lose yourself.
Mm,
And you're so much more than that. Like you're so much more than the little bit of anger. And like, what does that serve you anyway?
nothing.
That's right. You have an entire life ahead of you. This little thing ain't gonna matter in 6 weeks. I mean,
Perspective.
maybe it'll matter in 6 weeks, but maybe it won't matter in 6 years. But you're gonna still be you. So we
Yeah.
gotta sit and we gotta figure out who you are. We gotta sit and be like, how can I see myself here?
Mm-hmm. And will this matter in 6 weeks?
That's right. And yeah, you might
Perspective.
still be sad or you might still be angry, but maybe not. Like, especially if you don't continue investing in the sadness and investing in the anger every day,
Mm,
which which is what we like to do. We wake up and go, remember, I'm angry because he did this thing or she did this thing or this happened or whatever.
right.
This is how we got in. This is how we get into such a mess. We wake up and say, oh, I'm not rich yet. Oh, I don't have the things I think I want. But all of that is just in the manifestation. You are here with yourself
Mm,
right now. And that is a gift. We have these next four lines which relate to a grouping, which says giving birth and nourishing, having without possessing, acting with no expectation, leading without trying to control.
mm,
This is the supreme virtue. You know, giving birth and nourishing isn't just for children, although that relates. It's also about giving birth to relationship, giving birth to ideas, giving birth to all sorts of things, and
mm,
nourishing, giving birth and nourishing, meaning that if there's a relationship, you nourish it with whatever comes natural to you in order to nourish it.
mm,
Having without possessing, you can have a relationship, but you don't possess that person. I was talking to someone earlier, Jennifer, I was talking to earlier, and we were talking about and not on this channel, but we were talking about encouraging or empowering children. You don't possess your child. You
Right.
have them in your presence. They are not your possession.
Mm-hmm.
Acting with no expectation. You do something without expecting anything, and leading without taking control. That brings us back to letting things take their course.
That was tile number 10. That
That's
was,
down number 10, and that's for you, Cicely.
that really was. I appreciate you letting me up. I gotta
Absolutely.
head out, but I feel 10 times better.
Well, I'm glad. I'm glad. And I want you to know that I love you. And I want you to get out there, and I want you to be Cicely as best you can.
Thank you. Much love. I feel the healing.
Oh, good. I'm glad to hear that. All right. You get out of here and have a great day.
You too.
Bye-bye. Well, that was beautiful. I was really glad. Cicely, thank you so much for your share and your 10 and all of this. It was so beautiful to be able to go through that with you. If anybody else has a number between 1 and 81 that they'd like to share, I didn't pick one today, but we went through some really nice ones. I don't know. Oh, we do have D is going to be joining me. Wonderful. I love it when D and I get to connect.
Good morning, my friend.
Good morning. How are you?
Fantastic. How are you doing today, buddy?
I'm doing great. I had a couple great shares. It's nice to come on late. I've been coming on early recently because I've been doing a little traveling and stuff, but it's nice to be able to kind of put it off until a little bit later so I can get some people that are on, because it's not always populous early in the morning.
Yeah, I was on, or I jumped in probably like 6:30 this morning, 7 o'clock, just to see who was up, and I thought I would see you, and I didn't see you, and I was like,
Yeah.
maybe Martin John will join on later, and so then I got a notification that you were on. I'm like, yes, winner.
Yes, here I am. Yeah, yeah, I've been coming on early, but I do like to come on closer to like 9 o'clock or whatnot, just because my interactions are so much brighter.
Yeah. Well, and on that subject of kind of when you come on, I've been kind of trying to find times when, not necessarily when there's more people on, because I don't know if that's necessarily a thing that's as productive or whatever, but like when people are on that I have already connected with, those are the times when I really want to, be available to engage, because that's really what it's about for me. But
Yeah, and this is the time where you and Catherine and so many other people have engaged with me, and so those are the things that I like to. Those are the folks that I like to interact with, and like Cicely just joined me, and I don't know
yeah.
that she and I had connected before.
Yeah, I've followed her for a little bit, and she's a really interesting person as well.
Yeah. I was really happy to be able to connect with her, and when we connect pretty deeply, so it's really nice.
Yeah, that's one of the things I love most about you, man.
Oh, well, thank you. So you got a number for me today?
I do. It is 11.
11. Wow, we're just on the low numbers today. It's wonderful. All right. Oh, this is a nice one. We join spokes together in a wheel, but it's the center hole that makes the wagon move. We shape clay into a pot, but it is the emptiness inside that holds whatever we want. We hammer wood for a house, but it is the inner space that makes it livable. We work with being, but non-being is what we use. So this one, I was going through this one. This one really kind of helped me understand the yin and yang sort of energetics of things, where it's like the house is the masculine yang energy, and then the space inside is the feminine sort of feminine yin energy, and
Yeah.
that goes all the way down to us, right? Our bodies, and then the mind or the spirit or whatever, like it embodies, like the Tao embodies everything. So it is the initial structure, and then in that there are these like Russian Tao kind of things: inside, outside, inside, outside, inside, outside. There's this reminds me of a riddle, like, what food do we take out the outside, cook the inside, then eat the outside and throw away the inside? And and that's a riddle about corn, and it's this space of like how masculine and feminine and yin and yang kind of support each other in the whole.
I like your interpretation of that, because I've heard, I had no idea that it was that I had no idea that 11 was what it is, but I've heard a teaching about this from Wayne Dyer, talking just reading that portion of the Tao, and in his interpretation of everything, and then getting your perspective on the yin and yang side of things is such a beautiful way of like amplifying this whole thing.
So what are your initial thoughts here in this one before we start going through it?
Well, there's, I think, a pervasive theme for 2021, and I'm going to do a talk about this, uh, lessons learned from this year.
Beautiful. When is that going to be? Do you know?
I think I'm going to do it today, actually, probably
Oh,
this
good.
afternoon around maybe 2 o'clock p.m. Central Time.
Beautiful.
Now that I've said that, I have to make it,
Well,
make
no,
make
I
it
mean,
so.
you don't, but
But my interpretation and kind of understanding on this is that typically our understanding of things or our perspective of things is just what we see on the outside, but it's the space on the inside that constitutes the actual thing. But at the same time, there's exactly what you said. There's that harmony between what we see and what we don't see that is actually the full creation. And when we are aware and mindful of the fact that there are attributes at play in anything, whether that's a tangible physical object or what you were and Cicely were talking about, like in a relationship, there's the seen and there's the unseen, but it's the wholeness of the two that actually makes it what it is.
right, right. One cannot have the space inside the cup without the cup.
Yeah, exactly.
One cannot move the wheel without the hub, and one cannot move the wheel without the whole of the wheel, and one cannot move the wagon without the hub, right? And the wagon has to have a hole in which the hub exists. And so this masculine, feminine, the
Yeah,
structure and space. And that's kind of where we go. Like our bodies are the structure, but the consciousness is the space, and the
yeah,
mind is the space. And so being like, what do we use in our lives? Well, we use the consciousness, but
yeah,
it can only be used in the physical with the structure, but that structure is within life, and life is within the structure of the universe. And so it's like this, like we mentioned earlier, this idea of these Russian dolls, inside outside, inside outside.
yeah. And as you're describing that, it makes me think of like, um, I'm not currently looking for a new house necessarily, but it made me think of like the process of when somebody is shopping for real estate or they're looking for a home. One of the first things that they see, whether it's online or in person, is the outside of the house. And then, people will make a judgment on, well, do I like the outside of the house? Do I not? Okay, well, I do like the outside. Now I want to go see what the inside is like. And then they walk through the house and they start, going from room to room and kind of imagining this, that, or the other. But it's the whole of the two. It's the structure of the house, and yes, the way that it looks and the way that it's designed and all this stuff. But it's what's inside the house, and then at the same time, especially when you're when you're looking at a new house, it's what's not inside. It's part, exactly what you were talking about, the consciousness, the imagination comes in, and the imagination is an invisible force. And bringing that invisible force into everything that we are experiencing is what makes life whole.
Mm-hmm. And then everything I always like to look at this idea of like, we have so many things that we can buy. You can fill your house to the brim, but then, we look at those, like at hoarders and things, and there's just like little paths to get through. And it's just,
Yeah.
it's fallen in on you, like all of this. And that idea that I may need this one day. That's a sad experience of like holding on to the manifestation because you believe in the manifestation so much more than the space, than like this, not just the space of your home, but space of like the space of your mind, the space, and those are, and that is, you know, an addiction. That's an escape.
Yeah, and you bring up a really good point, man. Like the one of the things that makes, this is this is one of the things that I've learned this year. One of the things that makes the pathway for peace is the clearing out and the freeing of the stuff. And
Yeah.
so whether that is, you know, you mentioned hoarding, we can be internal hoarders, not just in our home, but like in our mind and in our consciousness, and holding on to whether that's past regrets or you know, holding on to pain, holding on to suffering, holding on to struggle, holding on to ideas that don't serve us, whatever it is. Like we can clutter the we can clutter the space of our mind and our hearts with all kinds of stuff that is both unnecessary and not serving us. And just like what you said, like I need this to remember who I am, or I need this pain to remember what I've been through, or I need this concept of struggle to have some sort of sense of purpose, or whatever it is. And there's really a powerful thing about like learning how to let things go and free up space so that there is space for stuff to really flow in, like what we really want, like love and peace.
Yeah. Yeah, it's we need to be able to have that space, right? And all of that needs to be just part of our daily grind, like of creating space. Like, and I don't mean the word grind as that, but it is like, you know, it's like what we do
Right.
is what we do. Like the more space we create, the more we can be who we are in this moment.
Yeah, and I think, at least in my own journey, like there was a life coach I was working with earlier this year that she told me, you know, she said you really embrace struggle. You complain about it and you say that you don't like it, but you are holding on to it as though it's a virtue. And that was like eye-opening for me. At first I was like, what are you talking about? I'm not embracing struggle. I'm trying to get out of struggle. What are you talking about? But then as I started to explore the space and go within myself and look at my thoughts and look at my patterns and look at, you know, my history and like what am I really holding on to? And then at that point I was able to see, dude, she's exactly right. I have been holding on to and embracing this idea that like things have to be difficult and I have to be struggling, and I found myself like, you know, using that term like, well, you know, I really struggle with blah 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 blah. That's me holding on to the struggle because
As an
I'm
identifying, yeah,
yeah, because I'm saying this is
I do
something
this.
that is difficult for me and I'm not willing to let it go. I'm going to instead say, well, I really struggle with. And part of the movement of peace is, you know, like having the awareness, like to the awareness of language. I learned a whole lot from reading Florence Scovel Shinn this year and understanding that like words have power. So being mindful of the words that I'm using is as an indicator to what it is that I'm actually attracting into my life and what it is I'm actually manifesting and all that stuff. But if I am using the word struggle and attaching that to anything associated with myself, then I'm embracing that as something that I want. And so, like, it's taken a while and I'm still working through it. I think all of us are still working through stuff, even if we started,
Yeah.
you know, this year or last year or, you know, 20 years ago or 40 years ago. But realizing that since I don't want to identify with struggle, then that means that I have to remove it from my consciousness. And that is an ongoing process so that I can have space to fill what used to be filled with this idea or concept of struggle. I can fill it with something different. I can fill it with something that I want.
Well, it's interesting, you know, like because you know this whole Tao 11 talks about the spokes and then the shape of a plot and then the house, But the last two lines are really what's important. We work with being, but non-being is what we use. You know, like the idea of struggle is, first off, a perception. Like, you have defined struggle, right? It's not. It doesn't actually exist. Like, it is that non-being that we work with, and so by not attaching with or attaching to the idea that whatever it is you're experiencing is struggle, like as soon as you can let go of the idea that struggle exists, it's then when you can not be, right? When you can utilize this non-being. But when you define that experience, then you are in the manifestation.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, detachment from meaning
Yeah.
is a big deal. And again, that's something else I've been working with, and just like very briefly, like just understanding that anything that happens, any experience or whatever, there's the experience and then there's the meaning that's attached to it. And
Right.
so, like, detaching from the meaning and letting the experience be what it is has been a big, profound thing for me. Dude, I appreciate you so much.
Love
Looking
you.
forward to more conversations. Love you too, buddy. Have a fantastic day.
Love you. And looking forward to hearing your talk this afternoon if I can make it. And Catherine is joining me, my dear. She's a birthday buddy. She and I have the same birthday, and I appreciate that.
So, almost half birthday.
Yeah. When is our half birthday?
December 30th.
Is it December 30th? Is that because we have February in there. I don't know if that's half, but it would be close.
I mean, it just depends all the time, but
Yeah, well,
in
we can
general.
celebrate a half birthday tomorrow.
I know we should.
I actually wished a cousin of mine happy birthday today, but it turns out it's not her birthday, and I'm not exactly sure when her birthday is now, because I had a note in my phone that said December 29th, and I was like, it's not. I was like, now I feel silly.
Well, I wished a werewolf happy birthday, and it was his birthday.
Oh yes, the Polish werewolves.
Yes, the Polish werewolf. And they acknowledged it was his birthday finally.
Oh, well, that's nice.
I
The
know.
Christmas Eve werewolf birthdays.
Yeah.
It's
Oh,
such a like.
magic.
I'm gonna tell you, like going through every question in your in your trivia, Christmas trivia, changed my life.
You're like, now I know that people born in Poland on Christmas Day are werewolves. Totally
Yes,
changed the
yes,
world
yes.
for me.
Oh, it's Christmas Day. I thought it was
That's
Christmas.
Christmas Day.
Christmas
Yeah.
Day. Christmas Day babies are believed to be werewolves.
Well, sure, believed to be, or are werewolves. Either way.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
So what are we looking at today for numbers?
12.
12. We are staying in the low numbers today.
What did Steve
Oh,
have?
D had 11.
11.
And then
You know, his
Sicily
name
was
is Steve
10.
to me.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
And then so Sicily did 10, D did 11, and you're doing 12.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. And before that, Dr. Rao came on and picked 7. So we have like
Wow.
very low numbers today, which is fine. Like, low
Yeah.
numbers is just like, there are different sections of the Tao. So the low numbers do kind of talk about things in a little different way than higher numbers. But so color blinds the eye, sound deafens the ear,
Oh, we've done
flavors
this one. I like
numb the
this one.
taste. Yeah, me too. Thoughts weaken the mind, and desire withers the heart. The master observes the world, but trusts his inner vision. He allows things to come and go. His heart is as open as the sky.
Oh, I like this one, of course.
Yeah, I really love this one. And you being someone who speaks so much on intuition, like the idea that allow things to come and go, his heart as open as the sky. That's something that I always kind of, when I read this, I do think about your being open to so many things.
Thank you. Appreciate that. I love how open to the sky. There's something about that, isn't it? There's that beautiful game that I think people played more often, maybe when I
Christmas
was
trivia.
well, that as well. But where you lay down on the grass and you look at the clouds and try to, see what shapes are in them.
Oh yeah, or just laying on the grass and looking at the clouds.
Yeah, or the stars.
Yeah, laying on the grass. Really, that's
Yeah.
people used to do that more.
Yes. It used to be actually a thing you did on purpose.
And you used to see people doing it.
Yes.
You don't see anybody doing that anymore.
Not
I don't know
really.
if you do. I haven't seen people doing that in a while.
No. Well, if they do, they seem to have their phone in their hand.
Oh, that's true. And they're looking at their phone, not the sky.
Mm-hmm.
They may be looking at pictures of the sky in their phone.
I mean, that's true, but still, there's a different thing in that than just
Yeah.
looking at it for as it is.
It's
And
interesting mentioning that just because I feel like the phone, like having pictures of the sky while you're laying on the grass, is like looking at the sky is looking at a manifestation. Looking at your phone is looking at a picture of the manifestation. And it just takes you further and further and further away from who you are and the experience that you're having.
mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the imagination is so amazing, and when you relax your brain enough for these thoughts and imaginations to come through to you, these visions that come from that are what let you see a hippopotamus in the clouds, and it strikes something within you, and the stars seeing different shapes, or how many planets out there could have people on them, and how many suns are there out there. Just it sparks a different thing, a different conversation, different feeling.
And that brings us right into this 12 because we're talking about like colors blind the eye, sounds deafen the ear, flavors numb the taste, thoughts weaken the mind, desires wither the heart. These are all things: color, sound, flavor, thought, desires. All of those exist within the manifestation and take us away from ourselves, right? They
Mhm.
blind the eye, they deafen the ear, they numb the taste, they weaken the mind, and they wither the heart.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, letting go of structure, detail
Yeah.
structure that you have to squeeze and move and climb and crawl, and you have to go through every element of it. Not a structure of just the basic, you know, house or something that you can wander through easily, but where it's every little detail is created to move through. It it is all of those things. It creates all of those problems.
Hmm. Yeah.
You're in
And it
your head.
separates you. What were you saying?
I said you're in your head.
Yeah. You're in your head. And that is where you're experiencing all of this manifestation. That's where you're experiencing all of this color, all of these pictures of the sky that you're looking at while you're laying on the grass, rather than looking at the sky as it is right now. You
Hmm.
know, they there's this conversation I was having with somebody about like the natural world and how the natural world is may not get the support that it has gotten in the past because so many children today are able to watch programs that give them exciting glimpses into nature, but when they go into nature, they don't see any of that. Like I know sometimes I'll go on hikes with people and they're like, I want to see a deer. I want to see a deer. I was like, no, that probably won't happen. It may, but
That's
you
funny.
you're only going to see a deer if it's around,
And
you
if you
know.
go to nature often enough.
Yeah, like I see deer all the time, but I utilize that all the time as a quote, in quotes, as just kind of like, hey, all the time is, I mean, I'm in the woods 3 days a week, and most of the time all I see are squirrels. And it's like, being able to engage with nature and see nature, especially as we continue to encroach upon nature. Like there is less and less that we can experience, and yet we can turn on our phone and have an experience right now that's exciting and beautiful and like what have you.
That's interesting. I grew up, I mean, I was always out in nature all the time growing up. Like, I was outside all the time.
Yeah.
And I don't think I mean, I was in the woods. I don't think we ever saw a deer. It never crossed my mind that I was supposed to see a deer.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it was
Yeah,
just,
because and the conversation I was having was with people that work for, you know, the county or the state in their, you know, forest preserve, like nature preserve sort of things. They're like, you know, we're getting like children are less and less interested because nature moves slow, and they're so connected to instant gratification and just seeing things that are beautiful all the time. But if they go into the woods like 3 times and don't see anything, like the beauty of being in the woods may even be boring.
interesting. Now,
Yeah.
and I think the difference too is um, it goes back to that being quiet.
Which is the next line. The master observes the world, but trusts his inner vision. Like
Hmm.
that inner vision.
Yeah, but just being quiet, and when you walk in the woods, being quiet and noticing the difference in the plants and the difference in the ground and how it feels and how it smells and what
Yeah.
hear in the trees, like just slowing it down.
Right. Yeah.
And that's the thing, is the quick gratification, and that's so much of what intuition is. Slow it down a little bit.
Right. Yeah.
And then people are like, wait, but I gotta. Well, you could spend days and days and weeks doing your, buzzing or running and looking for all this stuff, or you could spend an hour quieting it down and get everything you need to get done in half a day.
Right. I
It
mean,
is.
I've noticed the more mindfulness I have, the more time I have.
Yeah, yeah, totally true. Because intuition is your resource for your best efficiency, productivity, decision making, saving money, and decisiveness that you could possibly have.
Yeah. It is so important to be able to be in touch with that which is you, you know, like you trust your inner vision. You can, you know, the master observes the world, but trust your inner vision. If you don't see a result coming right now, but trust your inner vision, you'll be calm.
Mm-hmm.
You know, just because it's not clear to you at this moment, you can still remain calm in that, because like you said, you can run around going blah, 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 all that kind of stuff and maybe happen upon one of the things that your intuition is trying to get across,
Yeah.
or you can just be quiet and trust that inner vision.
And sometimes it'll kind of throw you a curveball for a little bit. Go, okay, let's do a little practice. And like, for instance, I've sold a couple things online, and I sold something the other day, and it was one of those digital frames that plays videos and pictures, and
Yeah.
and so I talked to them. I'm like, here's how it works. Oh, and the guy was like, I know, I was a business coach. I know how to use USB things and all the technology. I know how to do everything. Oh, great. Well, then it'll work for you. So I met them, I sold it to them, and then they couldn't find the directions, which were under the frame in the box.
Yeah.
And then they wrote, and they're like, videos and stuff don't work on it. I was like, it just has to be in a 720p format.
Right.
Your steps by step what you do, and then they wanted their money back and everything. And so you think, gosh, my intuition said to sell it to them, like just to go with it. And now what? Now I have to go find these people and I have to help them and I'm gonna have to return it. Like, what the hell, people? This did not save me time and make things more efficient for me. And so I was like, all right, I'm just gonna just let it be and be like, okay, you said this is who I sell it to. I gave me a little hint it was going to be a little rocky, so I'm just going to ride through it. And then I woke up in the morning and they were like, thank you so much for all the directions and help. Well, we're just going to keep it. I was like, well, look, there you go. I just kind of relaxed into it. I just started going,
Yeah.
oh my God.
And then these final two lines, he allows things to come and go. His heart is as open as the sky.
Yeah, there you go.
And that's it. Like as you were clenched, as you were holding onto it all, and like they just kept coming with more and more requests of you,
Yeah.
right? Like,
Yeah.
and it was clearly, this isn't the right answer. This isn't the right. No. What's not right is your approach to it.
Mm-hmm.
Allow this to come and go. And when you wake up, we'll have everything worked out for you. But you have to trust that.
Yep. And you have to, I mean, that's the trick of it, is knowing that there'll be little curveballs in there because you're constantly working to be in a line with your intuition. You're constantly trying to recognize when you're not listening to your intuition, when you're listening to thoughts or fear or emotions. That's why you get those little curveballs. They're meant
Right.
to happen to help you.
Right. They're meant to remind you that you are being held.
Yeah.
How
This was
beautiful.
fun.
Always fun. Oh, man, Catherine. Love
And
you so
Steve's
much.
sending me
It's
presents.
always great to connect.
Oh, I love
Always
talking to
great.
you.
Oh, I love talking to you. Sharing and caring and loving and all that kind of stuff. It's so beautiful.
Dowing of the day, trivia.
Dowing of the daying. And send my best to Carol and have a wonderful day.
She
Oh, wonderful. All right. Well, we went through 7, 10, 11, and 12 today. Does anybody else want to pick on 13? Is we want to move on? I'm gonna start signing off, as I've been through a couple people today. And Dr. Rao, thank you. Cicely, you are the best. I hope you're having a wonderful day. D, continue being you, and I'm looking forward to hearing your talk about lessons you've learned in 2021. Catherine, love you so much, and I'm so glad that we Tao of the day so often. I'm Martin John, your recovery mentor. I am here and I talk about recovery here on Wisdom. I talk Tao of the day. I take a limited number of clients, one-on-one clients every month. I have a number of workshops coming up that you can join. So if you're interested in anything that I talk about and the things that I do, I would love to put you on a path of recovering yourself, because the more you are you, the better the world is for all of us. And I would love to extend that to you. So if you are listening and you're interested, please go to my website, martinjohn.com, or find me and DM me on Instagram or Twitter or wherever you connect with me. I would love to connect with you. Other than that, this is a Recover Yourself production. I'm your host, Martin John. And until next time, keep recovering yourself.